limiting the resources for a container. Okay, so let's see. Yes, I have the Apache container running. You see this? Okay, if I try to Docker stats, so if you see that it is trying to think that all the memory which are allocated to the machine is allocated to the container. Okay, there is a problem in doing like this because you will never know when the container is going to consume more memory, which may impact the performance of the other containers. So it's always a best practice. You can define this is the maximum CPU or this is the maximum memory a container can consume, so that you will be able to do a capacity planning for the number of servers which you want to add it to the cluster. Okay, so let's see, how do I restrict what is the memory I'm going to allocate for my container. So let's run that. Docker run -d -rm -memory equal to 256 meg. So I'm going to allocate only 256 MB for this container, and run the Apache, same Apache. So now Docker ps, I can see this Apache is running. So I do Docker stats. You can see the limit is reduced to 256 MB. This is how you can specify the memory limit for a container. So the limit is changing from complete memory, and if the container is trying to consume more than this memory, the Docker daemon will not allocate the memory for it. So without the memory, your process will die. By default, your container will also die. You will get notified about that. If you have a proper monitoring system configured, then you can just go and check why it is using high memory, and then you can do the troubleshooting. Memory allocation. So, CPU allocation. So in a Docker world, the CPU will be divided into something like one CPU is equal to 1024 units. Okay, you can define them in the unit also, or you can define them in the percentage kind of thing also. So let me just show you Docker Docker inspect. Let me just try to inspect the old one, okay, where I have the memory limitation. So if you see that, you can see in the nano CPU, it will be mentioned as 0. That means there is no CPU restriction for this container. It can consume all the CPUs on the host machine. Okay. To reduce that, you can do something like this. I'll just show you. So Docker run -d -CPUs equal to 0.5, and then I can also use the -memory equal to 256 M and Apache. So if you run this, and if you inspect this container, inspect, you can see now the nano CPUs will be restricted. You see, previously we have nano CPUs as 0. Now the nano CPUs were restricted. So if the container try to use the CPU more than this, the Docker daemon will not allow it.